Let's get chatty. And good evening, one and all. Thank you and welcome to the Ashbright Art live stream. As you can see here, you are viewing me on YouTube. Maybe in the future, you'll see me on LinkedIn when I eventually get all the backlog edited. Tonight, during the live stream, we're going to go ahead and start finishing up the accessibility test and observations from my website as it currently stands today. It does need quite a bit. You can go and check it out, ashbrightart.com. The URL is there. You can see right here on the left side, not very well because it is very tiny. But this is my current website. The landing page, it's broken. Gotta take my time and fix it. So I figured might as well go ahead and use this as a great example of what typically happens during the assessment test, and also that way you can see even with the speed. I know that button's supposed to work. Wasn't expecting that to be a problem. And you can see there with the URL. But we'll go ahead and deep dive into this a little bit further. We'll also talk about the responsiveness eventually. So we've already gone through with the first impression. And so far, I'm not doing very great on the website. I have a lot of reds and a lot of yellows where there's notes of others. You can tune into the video from last week, which is still posted on my YouTube channel, of the live stream where I was working on the website. And now we've moved on to this section where I made this very accessible for you all to be able to see this pretty well. However, I am reading through a reading light, so forgive me if you see me moving left and right. I'm just trying to be able to read the full document. I also could zoom this out quite a bit. Oh, does the first impressions have a score? No, it's just the first impression. It doesn't actually have a score itself. And again, this is all something that was in the training done by Megan Thomas, who runs accessibility trainings for web designers. And actually, let me see if she added more to her repertoire, or I should say her Luma page. There we go. It's Megan, spelled Maigen Thomas. Oh, she's only on 62 of 100. She hasn't posted anymore, but you go onto her Luma page, you can actually sign in and subscribe so you'll get alerts about this. I'm pretty sure she has a Patreon as well if you wanted to support her there. So, let's go ahead and see. Buttons have visible text labels or ARIA labels. And for this, I have to go into the code of my website. For finding the code is pressing Control Shift C. I don't know how many of you all accidentally do that. I constantly am trying to copy things and paste them over from my one space to another, and sometimes I'll accidentally press the C, but that's how you'll get to this information. And we'll say a button. So, I thought this was going to be a good idea. I think there's a little bit too much happening for me here. So what's new with DevTools 144? Request conditions, Mac server. I'm going to go ahead and exit out of the bottom stuff, just because I simply want to be able to see the code more. And does this have a label? Yes, it does. It says book a free strategy session, so that counts as a label. This is an image. And you can see on the left of the screen where it tells you the accessibility and some generic information. So if you were to take that to a designer's website and just do Control Shift C, I don't want to call anyone out but myself, because I know just as much as they do about it, and sometimes they know more. So I'm not going to sit here and rain on someone's parade. But you could see, like, oh yeah, it does have this generic naming convention because, like I said, Control Shift C, that's a free tool, but you can see, oh well, is my background color and contrast working? If you notice, I wish I could zoom in further for you all. Let me think. I'm going to do a screenshot. Yeah, that's going to work. Now, open it here. Yeah, that's what we want. Because I want to zoom in so that you can see this information a little bit further. Because, like I said, this is completely free to do. You don't have to be a designer. But if someone's like, oh yeah, I'll help you with accessibility, and then you see, oh, the rich text, contrast, 21, there's a check mark. That means that this black text can be read well on top of this white background, as an example. I wish I could point. I'll have to look and see if there's a pointer attachment or something I can get for my mouse, because my mouse is not passing accessibility to see this. Oh, I got an idea. Oh yeah, let's do this. So, again, one more time. You'll see, potentially, what's a good contrasting color? Well, I want the size to go up. And we'll do, I like blues and purples, and I feel like they're pretty readable. So this right here is what it's talking about. Is that section. When you see the contrast is this A, this double A, and the 21 with the green check mark, that means it's good. Now, you came on here and you saw yourself and you're looking through stuff. It's like, oh wow, I really can't read that thing. Control Shift C, and you'll be able to look through and see, oh wait, it's not just me. It's because the color of the font is not contrasting well and even doesn't pass this accessibility checker. Just something to keep in mind when you're going through it. And I would say all the buttons are labeled. Well, there's a span button labeled. I think this does need to be fixed. Personally, on my level. So score, I don't have ARIA labels. But I could say usually I have them. Priority is pretty I'm going to go back over here because here's the other thing too. I'll admit, while developing my website, I've yet to do a tabbing test. So we're going to start at the top of my page and just tab through it. So it has my logo, my name and LLC, the login option, hamburger option, booking. Okay, so why it's going to probably read out this stuff. It's not actually recognizing it as a button. Oh, see right there, I could tell you already. Control, well, I won't go back to that point. We'll keep tabbing. And then it completely skips down to outreach and it goes to my mail too, but it doesn't have a call to. And I'm asking people for their information, submit. I'm going to say that all the buttons work. I'm going to give myself a medium priority on if I need to focus. Are difficult to distinguish. Oh. I must have gotten this from when she did a different one. They are visible and can be tabbed. Provide more information, but we need more details about what the button does. Okay, and we'll go back up here. Document type is specified. It's in English. So yes, and this is not a priority. Language page has been specified. Yes. So this is not a priority. I mean, the only thing that I could do, I haven't gotten there yet, but you remember we were at that one website on Wix where they had in English but also in Czech. So I could try to use a translator to convert the information. However, you never know how good those are going to be, because if you remember with the Czech website, it had about as APO ... I'll have to look into it. A skip link is provided as the very top of the page and relevant focus. No. I don't remember what a skip link is, so I'm going to say never and say that is critical. Target size. Target areas and call to actions are at least 44 by 44 pixels. Let's see. We're going to do it at the bigger size. And this is for a desktop screen, obviously. So, Control Shift and C. Let's see. The booking consultations page is 200.41 by 33.6. It's a little too slim. But I'm wondering too. Because, yeah, it's adjusting with the screen size. So, let me make the screen as big as I can for this to read it. And this should not be overlapping. Anyways, 130, it's still saying 33.3 pixels. Ah, no, there we go. The whole button is passing. This one is not passing. That one is not passing. And this one is not passing. It's all basically the height that is not passing on too. Huh. Okay, well. We're going to say rarely. I would say that's a major thing because I want people to be able to click on the call to action. Actually, I'm going to say that's critical. Because how do you know what to do next if you can't click on a button? Link's purpose may be discerned from the link text or their immediate context. Oh, that is a link. Nope. We're going to say rarely. Because I did not remember that I made those into buttons. I don't think that I actually did because I was trying to work with the template. So I'm going to put that as major. Links are very distinctly surrounding text, not just by color alone. I'm going to put sometimes, and that is a major thing. Low contrast text, large text, 24 pixels and larger, has a contrast ratio of 3.1. I mean, going to say mostly, except for when they're over those pictures. So, I know those pictures are going to need a redo anyways altogether. Body and or smaller text is contrast ratio of at least 4.5 to 1. I'm going to also say usually. A major. Link text copy is assigned contrast 3.1 against the background. Usually, except for the ones that are in front of this picture, which I think I'm just going to redo that whole entire section. There are links above pictures are using on the fact to click on them. Thus, I need to update the information and the style guide. This is just a reminder for myself for a different night and a different day. That is all data. That is not mine. Yeah, no. Images do not have text embedded in them. I'm breaking that rule so bad. I need to fix that. Huh? Images do not have text embedded in them. Rarely, and I need to. That's a critical change. Active images are provided with meaningful text, alt descriptions. I don't have any on here. I do have decorative images, and I don't know if they're set up to be ignored. Good question. I'm gonna put rarely. I don't want to say that it's never, because honestly, I'm not going to keep these pictures. They're stock photos from Wix. Because sometimes when you're trying to build in Wix, it can be a little bit slower depending on your website or on your what's it called? Your internet speed. So sometimes I just walk away. Form control inputs are assigned visible, meaningful text labels. Let's go down to the contact form. I have first name, last name, last name. I have the phone. I have asterisks as to what is required, so yes, I can say always. Give myself a green. Fields are left justified to the left field or above. Yes, I do that as well. Required fields are identifies it as such in a label input. Yes, and I also have examples, so we're going to say yay. Yes. See, I don't always fail. Just need to figure out what I need to do better for the next time. And I'm also going to, but I mean, this is a major priority, but it's just not a priority at this time. Okay. And you'll see at the top right of the sheet that currently my website for essential accessibility, even though I'm passing the page checker with accessibility, I'm only giving myself a 2.47. So it's not extremely disruptive, but it is disruptive to user experience, which I don't want. I'm trying to practice what I preach and do as I am instructing, hopefully, versus the saying, do as I say, not as I do. I know I hear that a lot, and I definitely say that a lot for other things, but for updating websites and making it a better experience, I don't want to keep practicing it. I will do better. Extended accessibility. Accessibility scores measures how easy your interface is for people to use of all kinds. So that's where I've already done some of this. So that's where I was doing the tabbing just on the home page and everything else. I'm going to go ahead and we'll start this. I'm going to be honest though, I think in 10 minutes we're probably not going to get through this accessibility stuff for extended. Okay. Interaction methods and modality. Users can efficiently interact with the system using inputs of their choosing, such as mouse, keyboard, touch, voice. There is clear visible indicators on all active elements that as they receive focus. I'm going to say yes, because when I was tabbing through, you could see it. I'm going to say usually. It's a medium priority because it is there. Interactions do not require the user to use mouth. For every functionality is a full keyboard accessible. I'm going to say usually. I don't know why I was skipping over the text because I feel like with the screen reader, it should be able to read that stuff off. Okay. Navigation and wayfinding. Pages have meaningful titles, text, with specific information going first. This is also a SEO basic principle or search engine optimization. And right now, no, it does not. Title elements and H1s are the same or similar. I can tell you now, rarely. I need to go in there and set up a theme system for everything. But I think what I'm going to do with this website is break it down into paper designs. I might do a crazy 8 for my website again, just for each page. And typically crazy 8s, which is basically where you draw down each screen the way that you want it to look. It's good practice. I'm not going to say that I always make it to 8 sketches. Sometimes I only make it to 3. But still, just sketching something down on paper real fast. I don't know. Well, I crochet using that camera that you all are on. So I'm thinking I could just move you down and have a sketch pad right here. Move the microphone back so that I don't knock it into Timbuktu. And I could sketch out sections on my website. I do need to think about the structure of the website, which is information architecture, which is another thing. The way that your website is sorted. So that you can give customers a happy path. Obviously, most websites, if you're buying as a consumer, the e-commerce market is basically locked down. Hey, you want the person to come in, be educated about the product, go to the section they want, purchase a product, move it forward into the cart. Once they're at the cart, click checkout, provide all their information, checkout. With this, I now have more things than I did prior to doing all this. So I have the YouTube content, I have the TikTok schedule that I put out. I still don't know what to necessarily put on Instagram. I will get there. It's just not something where I'm sitting here thinking, okay, let me snap the latest web design, because I want to attract people that need assistance with websites, not other designers. And I feel like that is the one thing for the past 2 to 3 years is we all end up in this bubble of, oh, I need to learn how to design. Let me get a whole bunch of designer friends. And then we all talk about we can't find clients or everything else. Or we're researchers. So we want to have research friends. So that when their companies open up businesses, we're able to mutually aid each other into getting into the job market. But then you're stuck with all research people. And basically, tech kind of ended up, from outside perspective in, ended up being kind of like a high school situation where people started to click up. You had the writers staying with the writers, you had the developers staying with the developers. The developers, though, the methodology of group coding, that all makes sense to me on why they're grouped together. They lean on each other for support, but most of the time they're building something for themselves. And designers, they work in groups as well. However, when you're as Leah Bruley, everyone, it is currently 9:25 p.m. EST. My brain is here, but it has also sort of left the live stream. I just want to make sure. Leah Burley's book, UX Team 1, which I've read. I still go back to it and reference it all the time. It's used basically for research. And also, to be fair, unless you're in the tech space, most people don't know what UX means. And there is a push for education on it. But with the AI boom competing with the UX boom, competing with the tech bubble bursting, it's a lot. And then there's still small business owners and nonprofits on the side like, hey, we need help. So trying to reach out and get to those individuals is one of my goals for 2026 and 2027 moving forward. Help them be able to have their websites recognized and feel proud like, oh yeah, here you go. You can go on my website and use it to sign up for this or use it to purchase that without having to feel like they're forced to stay within Shopify or in Etsy. I'm not anti those platforms. Well, Etsy and I have, we don't have beef like Arby's, but we do have our issues. I've never necessarily been a proponent for Etsy, which is why I kind of went into a Wix website. That is a story for another day, though, and I probably already told that story once before. Again, little bit groggy. Heading structure hierarchy does not have any skip levels. I can say sometimes it does, and I don't know how to explain that, but I'm pretty sure it's sometimes. Content that looks like headings are defined as headings in the code or HTML. I am not sure. Let's see here. Body class. I need something like this. I just clicked on it so I can save it. Oh, it's saying my audio. Oh, it was saying no sound was detected on TikTok because I wasn't talking. Okay, so heading 2. Yeah, they're defined as headings. So I can actually say yes. Usually. I can give myself a usually. Pages have meaningful heading. Nope. I'm going to get that. Navigation menus are structured using list, which that would be the hamburger button that's on the top right hand corner, and it is structured as a list. I can actually put usually. Data tables, I don't have any. So this is not applicable. And at that, we are basically at time. It is currently 9:29. And I wish that this would actually show my clock instead of the calendar. That's fun. Oh, I do have the option to do not disturb. But for tonight, we're going to go ahead and call this a wrap. And I do want to thank you all again for tuning in to this work in progress as we are working through the accessibility guide. We were able to get through the essential accessibility as well as start in the section for extended accessibility. Next week, we'll go ahead and plan to finish the extended accessibility up. And then wayfinding organizations looks pretty short. Visibility and of system statuses. We'll go ahead and work through all these and see what we can find. And then, because I want to make sure that I get through all this, because I tend to try to skip things, and skipping is not good. Yeah, I don't have any web applications, so these all will get skipped for now. But we will see how far we can get. I'm pretty sure we can get through most of this next Wednesday. And I do want to thank you all again for tuning into Ashbury Art. You can always find me at ashburyart.com, and have a good night. Thank you. Bye bye.